We are here today at Advanced Training Principles with owner and strength and conditioning coach John Franco and myself, Sasha Woshczyn. Today our segment is on health and fitness. So John, I know that before you start working out, it is really crucial to do a warm-up. So what are some typical warm-ups that a person can do?
Okay, well, it depends on the type of activity that you're going to be warming up for.
Okay.
General fitness, somebody might come get on the bike and pedal for 5 or 8 minutes to get their heart rate up and their body temperature up. An athlete would do a warm-up, something that's more dynamic, like a dynamic stretch, we call it. An example of a dynamic stretch might be a knee hug. Try that knee hug, right? And then switch legs, okay? Mm-hmm. Another example of that would be a knee hug to a hamstring stretch and back up. Knee hug, hamstring stretch, okay? Mm-hmm. Or you could do something like reach for your toes, touch your hips, reach for the sky. Okay, so a dynamic stretch is stretching with movement.
Okay, so typically I would consider myself an athlete. So how long would this warm-up last for me before I start my workout?
Okay, dynamic stretch should last about 5 to 8 minutes, same as the type of warm-up you would do if for general fitness. You need about 5 to 8 minutes for your body's heart rate to get up a little bit and for your temperature to increase about 1 degree.
Okay, really cool. I'm gonna try that next time before I start to work out. Okay, so I know personally I'm a college student, I'm always on the run, I don't have time to work out. So I don't have time to spend an hour and a half working out at the gym, but I still wanna stay in shape. And I know that eating healthy is not just gonna help me out. So if I wanna stay in shape, what should I do? Is there a way that I can work out for maybe 30 minutes? What's more beneficial?
Well, there's a lot of things you can do to stay in shape, and you don't need a gym to do them, okay? For example, most people don't realize that just walking at a brisk pace gives you a tremendous health benefit. Mm-hmm. It burns calories, it strengthens your heart and lungs, and on a nice day, it helps you clear your mind, and it's a mental benefit as well. As far as building muscles and making your body look more toned and stronger, you can do something as simple as a push-up. Would you like me to show you how to do a push-up properly?
Yes, the correct way.
Okay, so let's have you down on your knees first. A push-up would be an example of a strength training exercise you could do at home without a gym. 2 different levels. The first level will start on your knees. Place your hands about just wider than your shoulders. You want to keep your body in a straight line, your head up, chest down, and you want to bend your elbows and try to get your chest about as deep as where a tennis ball would be, and then push back up, okay? If you get really good at them and you want to make them harder, you would do what they call a men's style push-up, and now you're on your toes and your hands, and you would do the same thing. Bend your elbows about as deep as where a tennis ball would be under your chest and back up. Awesome, Sasha.
Cool.
Great. So the push-up would be a good example of that, and you had 2 different levels. You can do sit-ups, you can do chin-ups, and you can do a variety of different activities that require your body weight to strengthen your muscles. There's all kinds of websites out there. You can go on the internet and search out a body weight routine, and you can find all kinds of things.
Okay, great. So anything regarding a total body workout will be beneficial to do if I have, say, half an hour of time?
Absolutely. Something is better than nothing.
Exactly. And I don't even have to use a gym.
That's right.
That's awesome.
It's free.
Great. So I know we touched a little bit about form previously when we were doing the push-up, but I know that a lot of people, when they are working out, they don't consider form, and they can get severely hurt. So what are some typical exercises that you, as a personal trainer, see people are doing incorrectly, and how can people avoid doing stuff incorrectly?
Well, the biggest one that I see is really the incline fly or the fly motion with dumbbells.
Okay.
An example of that being done incorrectly. A fly is an out and in movement. But when you go out, you have to keep your elbows out. Typically what you see is people drop their elbows and they go out like this, and that puts a lot of stress on the shoulder. So you really need your elbows to rotate around so that when you do the fly motion, the wrist, the elbow, and the shoulder are all on the same plane. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. So say I'm the kind of person that doesn't really know much about working out, but I want to get back into shape, and I go to the gym. What are some typical ways that I can avoid doing form incorrectly?
Well, one of the biggest ways you can do, and the most effective, would be to hire a trainer.
Okay,
And
so what are the benefits of having a trainer or not having a trainer?
Well, the trainer, number one, will design a program based on what your needs are and where your fitness levels are, okay? So that, you know, it's a sensible entry level into exercise and then a progression from there. The trainer will also make sure that you're doing the exercises correctly. And that's important so that, one, you work the muscles that you're trying to work on, and two, you prevent injury. Doing an exercise incorrectly with bad form really raises the risk of injury.
Okay, so how long does a personal training session usually last?
They can last anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I know that you also are a strength and conditioning coach, and I just wanted to ask you a little bit about what that is, how it's beneficial, and where do you use it?
Okay, well, actually, that's really where my expertise are. I'm a certified strength and conditioning specialist under the National Strength and Conditioning Institute.
Wow.
Okay, so what I do is I work for a high school football team, and my job is to design the strength and conditioning program. So, and that's an all year round job. Most people don't realize, they think it's just for football season. But we prepare 365 days a year, or a year, correct. We work out 3 to 4 days a week, and my job is to break that year up into little pieces so that we can have a training regimen that starts us in the preseason and moves us up and through the season.
Okay.
And to get the athletes ready for their season.
So mainly strength conditioning is used for athletes?
Yes, although, you know, you can use it in the general population. A lot of people are doing it now with inside of their CrossFit routines. You know, they're doing the strength and conditioning exercises like squat, deadlift, and bench press. So people who are just interested in longevity and general fitness and to increase their functionality, they wouldn't be so interested in doing the strength and conditioning type exercises that we may use with football players. But there is a whole segment of the population, the younger 20s, 30s crowd, that are really jumping into that type of routine with the CrossFit type programs.
So it's easy to incorporate strength and conditioning exercises in your daily workout routine?
It's easy to incorporate them, but those are the type of routines that do require more supervision, that you're doing those exercises correctly. Because of the type of exercises they are, the risk of injury doing those type of exercises is really a lot higher.
Okay, so you want to make sure that when you are doing something that requires strength and conditioning, that somebody is present to make sure that your form is
That's correct.
Okay, great. So, done my workout, and I'm ready to go, but I haven't stretched yet, and that's because I don't know how to stretch. So, it is important to stretch when you're done your workout, but how do you do that right?
Okay. Well, there's all different types of stretching routines you can do, and again, they're simple to look up on the internet.
Okay.
The thing that you really need to keep in mind is that stretching at the end is crucial for helping recovery of the muscle, and 2, to maintain flexibility. Because when you work out, your muscles get fatigued, they're not as flexible as, until after you stretch them. So the increased blood supply to the muscle and the ligaments and tendons will help the recovery of the workout, and then also to maintain the flexibility in the body. So the other thing you want to keep in mind is really, when you stretch, you want to hold your stretch for 20 to 30 seconds. It's not enough to just stretch and stop. All right, you want to hold that stretch for 20 to 30 seconds to make sure that you not only stretch the muscle, but you get to the ligaments and tendons.
Okay.
And that 20 to 30 second period, that's what it takes to get to the ligaments and tendons.
Okay. So what is an example of a typical stretch that you would see somebody do?
Okay, a stretch, I like this one, I call it hug yourself. You put one hand on your shoulder, and then you reach the other hand underneath, and you pull that elbow across.
Okay.
And that's a good stretch for the shoulder and your back.
Okay.
You feel that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I hold that for 20 to 30
So you would
seconds.
hold that for 20 to 30 seconds.
Okay.
And then you would switch sides. And then that way you would get both shoulders.
All right. Cool.
There you go.
Thank you, John, for everything.
You're welcome.
Pleasure.
It was my pleasure.
Thanks.
Hope we all learned something.
We did.